Alicia Decker. Alicia, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing good.
Nice. Awesome.
Super
Awesome.
excited to be
Awesome.
here.
All right. So, Alicia, have you seen these before?
Yes,
And you still came on.
I did. Loyal listener, first time caller. No,
Yeah,
just kidding.
nice. So tell me, where are you at and where do you think I can help?
So I thought a lot about this, and so I have been in Inner Circle for a little over going on a year. Just signed up for my second year, so um, I'm I feel like I'm doing okay with the consistency part. That was a big thing with me, is getting into consistency and then kind of trailing off. But I was totally reinvigorated at Rankmakers Live again, like just like the injection that it's supposed to be, and staying invigorated with Kaylee as my coach. And I think that the thing that I struggle with is the is that fear of, what if this works? What if I actually reach the success that I'm going for? I am like the best Ray script user on the planet, and I send it like my messages, I do my DMO, I can answer anybody with any script. And I've actually recruited 4 cold prospects, totally cold to me, since signing up with Inner Circle, which is totally new, right? But it's that coaching them to pass the sign up, and feeling confident that I'm good enough to lead them, and that I would be okay to lead them, and actually achieve that success. I tend to fall back on like on that fear of, or maybe that doubt of, if it will be enough. Will it be enough to reach my own goals, or to feel like I've accomplished what I've set out to accomplish?
Will what be enough? You mean your guidance of them, or you mean something else?
No, I mean like the next thing. Like I've listened to you for years, and like you said, how, okay, I made my million, it was like on to the next thing. And that's, I tend to, sign up the consultant, be excited, on to the next thing. And it's like, when will it feel like I've achieved what I'm setting out to achieve? Because I don't think I'm celebrating that. I'm a little all over the place, but that's how my brain works. Um,
Um, so, so you're getting some results, but you're not really celebrating them. Is that what you mean?
yes, yes. I'm slowly achieving what I'm setting out to achieve. The results part, in terms of, like, I'm recruiting people, but them doing things, I know that's not a me thing. Like, I can't want it for them, and I can't put them into activity. But I'm excited about, like, getting the consultant, but then what? Like, I haven't coached them successfully to get into activity or to have their own success.
So, so let's say you're sending out messages. You send me a message. I decide to sign up. What do you do next with me?
I send you a message, and congratulate you for, or welcoming you to the team. I add you to our team page and welcome you there. I make sure that you um, sign up for the fast start, or our orientation training that we have. We have like a launch training. I send you there, and I offer to pay for your first month in Rank Makers. I have done that for every new consultant. I have not had any. I think I've had one that actually took me up on it, because that one actually wanted to be an activity. So I'm not addicted to them wanting to do that. I say, when you're ready.
When do you ask them what their goals are?
I'm sorry.
When do you ask them what their goals are?
When I have that phone call with them after they've watched the video and they say that they're intrigued, or I ask them what they liked best, and then my next thing is, let's get on a call.
But
And then
that's before you sign them up.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So does your response vary based on what they tell you?
Yes. So for the couple that I've signed up this way, they've said either I want to work towards making like a little bit of money, and I really haven't been concrete in saying, well, how much are you looking to make, or anything concrete like that. It's more of when they ask, okay, well, how much time do you spend? Forrest taught me my goals align, or my activity aligns with my goals, so your activity would align with your goals. So I don't know that I asked them their goals necessarily.
Because I would want to, so you don't, like, if you reach out cold to someone and say, hey, would you like to make some extra money or something like that, whatever you say, and then they say yeah, at that point they're not vested enough in the relationship to hammer them with a bunch of questions. But if they've seen a video and I follow up with them, which just sounds like what you're doing, and you say, hey, what are your goals? And they say to make money. I want to know, okay, cool. Now, is there a reason why, or, is there urgency? Like, is there an amount? Like, what are you hoping to make money for? Because that's your chance to really anchor them down. And so, to really get, because people really need leadership. And so when you take the time to find out what specifically are they after, then you have the opportunity to really marry what you're doing with what they want. And then you find out what's the urgency. So by doing that, I mean, I've had people that said, I have to come up with enough money to put my grandma in a nursing home, and I need this amount by this date. And so I say, well, if you don't do this, how will you get the money? They're like, I have no idea. I don't have a way. I'm like, okay, so there's a little bit of urgency here then. And they're like, yes. I'm like, got it. See, I'm going to treat that person a little different than someone says, it'd be nice to make some extra money. Cool. Like, any urgency on there? Nah, not really. Oh, okay, cool. I'm not going to shoo them away. I still want them to, jump in the team and start, tapping in and possibly gain some urgency or gain some higher level of desire. But I'm going to treat them a little differently. Now, I'm not going to, either one of them, I'm not going to shame or guilt or, push or something like that. I'm going to, get them in and say, okay, now you mentioned you had to come up with some money. Is it best if I give you an action step? Would that work for you? Or how would you like me to best lead you? And, and usually they'll say, yeah, an action step. And I say, oh, cool. Well, okay, watch the fast start first and come back. And, a lot of people, they don't. So if I don't know if I don't have a gauge on their level of desire, I certainly appreciate you saying I'll pay for your rank makers. But if I don't know their level of desire, I don't know if they're ready for that. It's, like if I go to someone and say, hey, you want to make extra money? And they say, yeah, okay, I'll pay for your first semester in medical school. And I go, all right, it may or may not be congruent. It may or may not make sense. And so I want to find out, and I might even, and just know that people don't appreciate what they're given. Usually, 99 out of 100 times, they don't appreciate it. So I would rather dangle a carrot. And here's a phrase that we have to always remember. And that is, when you want someone to do something, make them qualify for it. And so, like, you think that, green light, I'll offer to everybody, more will do it. What's interesting is if you make them jump through a hoop, more will do it and more will appreciate it. And so I might say, hey, there's this group Rank Makers I really like, and it's, X amount a month, and that really, helps you. However, what I tell my reps is if they go and they get, 2 customers, which we can easily show you how to do, then I'll actually cover your first month. And what you'll find is more people will see it. Now they see it as not something that they can get for free, but something that it's like a prize. So they take it more seriously. And some will go out and get the 2 just to get, to get that thing.
That makes total sense.
And so that's like logistically what I see with what you're saying. But when you said, what if it works? I'm still not clear on what your, issue is with that.
So my fear is, I work full time. I have kids, like we all do, right? So I'm busy, and my fear is, how am I going to support and to lead a big team? And will it,
So you draw size of team is going to take away time I already don't have.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the clarifier there? What am I missing?
Yeah. No, you're right. Yes.
So, and just so you know, anytime you have that, you have to sabotage. Right? So what's your full-time job?
I'm a pharmacist.
And you like that? It's probably a good paying job, I imagine.
Yeah.
So probably a lot of hours though, right?
I'm a 40. I work for the government, so I'm pretty much like 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday.
Gotcha.
And I'm an administrative level, so I'm like, my hours are pretty set.
How long have you been there?
Over 18 years.
So there's probably like a 20-year better retirement package or something.
Yeah, honestly, yes, there is, but it's not. I'm looking for more. I've stopped growing, and I'm looking for more. Not necessarily. I'm doing a lot of meditation and a lot of manifesting of something more. Not necessarily in my network marketing business, but even in my career, where I can have more impact, because my impact is definitely not like it used to be. So I'm doing a lot of work outside of that, a little bit with Kaylee, and a lot bit out with some other of my friends that we're working together, kind of building the dream position.
2 things I see here is, one, if you have this feeling that I'm currently maxed out on time, a bigger team would require more time, then you have to sabotage it. You just have to. And it doesn't have to be that way. With better management of time, you could have 10 times the size of team, more production in same amount of time, really. And so that doesn't have to, one doesn't have to equal the other. If you're wanting to create change in your job, the fastest way and the coolest way is if you follow some of Neville Goddard's trainings. So Neville Goddard, and I've listened to so much of his training. I can't tell you where some of these conversations will be, because I've just watched so many of the YouTube videos and stuff. But there's one that this reminds me of is actually there's 2 stories that I've specifically heard through Neville. One of them was his buddy who was a script writer, And he would write scripts for whatever TV shows or something. And so he'd write scripts, he'd send it in, and the producer or whoever would say, "Oh, this, good, thank you." Have you heard this one?
I maybe, but I can hear. I've heard a lot of this stuff over and over. So you can
Yeah.
tell me.
And so, the script writer tells Neville, he's like, it's so annoying. The guy, every time I write him, it's like, oh, good. It's nothing. And Neville says, well, just see him saying something else. See him saying something else. And what would that feel like? And so, he thinks about it, and he sees him saying, this is great. And so he sends it in, and it may have taken a little bit, but eventually he comes back to him. He goes, hey, this is great. He's like, oh man, maybe this stuff is working. And he goes, I'm going to have him say, this is awesome. And so then he has him, he takes a look, this is awesome. And then he said, okay, what's something that he would just never say, like ever? And so eventually it leads to, this is stupendous. And so he took him from years of this is good to great to awesome to stupendous. And then the other story I heard was this guy who he hadn't finished college, but this position he was going for required college, and he was asking Neville, should I go to college? And he said, just see yourself in that position, feel what it would be like. Just see yourself as that, not in the future, but right now. And so he starts doing that, and the company ends up rewriting the rules so that he can be in that position, and he gets that position. And so, don't think that you're limited to the confines of what you have. Just I'd probably first see and feel what it would feel like if your boss all of a sudden said, you know what, Alicia, we have a position opening up and we've been considering you for it, or whatever your circumstance. But I would start to see exactly what you want and feel as if it is right now, and not in the future, not wishing upon or anything like that, but I wish fulfilled. And so I would test that out. And this is something I'm currently doing something on a project around this. But I've had it happen multiple times. An interesting one doesn't pertain exactly to your situation, but an interesting one was Neville consulted Teddy Roosevelt's wife, and his wife came to Neville and was saying, hey, we have these two apartments, and we gotta get this one rented so we can go here, and I want to go here, but we don't have this one rented. And he's like, and so I think it was Long Island and Oyster Bay, I think, were the two things. And so she wanted to be in the Long Island apartment, but to do that she had to rent the Oyster Bay one, and no one had inquired about it. And so he said, tonight I want you to sleep in the Long Island one. And she's like, well, I can't. It's, the Oyster Bay. He goes, I know. He goes, physically, you sleep in the Oyster Bay one, but I want you to feel as if you're sleeping in the Long Island one. I want you to see yourself and everything that has to do with Long Island. Feel as if you are sleeping there, and you're physically going to be there, but you see yourself, you feel yourself being in that other one. And so she calls him the next day, and she goes, you're not going to believe this. And she said on the way, she goes home to the Oyster Bay one, someone contacted them and needed the apartment immediately. So she actually ended up sleeping in the Long Island one that night. And so just the power that we have that people don't understand. And so I would just, for me, the fastest things that have worked for me is seeing other people have conversations to me. So if I said, okay, what is it that I want? How would I know it's true? And what would that look like? And then I start to see the participating actors and actresses around that, play or whatever, right? How would someone congratulate you if you're in a different job, or a different position or different hospital or whatever, right? And so like who would, what would they say? What would the email announcing it look like? What would the head doctor say, or the head pharmacist, or whatever? Would you be the head pharmacist? Like what are all the surrounding evidence that would contribute to that? And just don't break from that. See and feel as if that is true. And did you hear me talk about Neville and his mentor Abdullah? You ever heard that?
I have the Neville Goddard quote that you did, and I have it
Yeah.
written next to me at all times about
Yeah.
the when your feelings are in conflict with your wish. So if
Yeah.
that one I've got like next to me, this is where when I telework, this is where I sit. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So this guy, fairly mysterious guy from Ethiopia, was named Abdullah, and he trained Dr. Joseph Murphy, who wrote The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, and he also trained Neville Goddard. He was their mentors, and they went on to do amazing things. And so Neville was was the late 20s, and Neville was a struggling dancer because everyone was in depression and everyone's out of work and no one's hiring dancers. And Neville goes to Abdullah and he's like, man, I'm dead broke, and I really want to visit my home island of Barbados, but I got no money at all. And Abdullah says, see yourself in Barbados, smell the salty breeze, see the little houses. When you go to sleep, see yourself in Barbados. And so, Neville's like, oh, okay. And, a couple months later, he's been doing this to the best of his ability. And he goes to Abdullah and he says, hey, I'm trying to get money, to get this trip to Barbados. And he goes, why would you buy a ticket to somewhere you already are? And like, that's the level of conviction. And so, he's like, okay, and he, keeps doing his thing. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, because we forget when we set the intention of things and we think that, oh, it just quinky dink, it just happened. And so he gets sent a ticket from his brother to come to Barbados. And so he gets this ticket in the mail and he's super excited. He goes down to the yacht yard or whatever, and they say, yes, you're confirmed, but we don't have you first class, but you're definitely be on the ship. And so he goes to Abdullah and says, yeah, good news, I got a ticket and my brother sent it, and I won't be on first class, but I'm excited. And Abdullah says, you went first class, slams the door in his face. Wasn't even happy that he got a ticket. Didn't even acknowledge that he got a ticket. And he just rolled his eyes like, you still don't get how powerful you are. Slams the door in his face, said you went first class. And so, Neville, like, geez, sees himself first class. He goes down there, and on the day of it, they had a cancellation, so he went first class. And so there's only thousands of those kind of stories. And so, I would see that in your job situation, that's definitely how I would play that card. Is I would see, what is it that I actually want? What does that look like, feel like? How would I feel? Who would acknowledge it? What would they say? And I would see that entire scenario. As far as on the network marketing side, we're not, we didn't really go deep into your past, because if you're consistent, that we're not yet at a place where I think we need to do that. And so, you just need to understand that it is very, very possible to have an extremely large team and it not eat up all your time if you have the right systems in place.
Yeah, I totally can see that. And I love the stories. I heard you tell that ship one, the Barbados one before, but it's still very powerful.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been working on that visualizing, but I don't think I've put the players in. I've been writing what I want based on what I have now that I don't want. So I've been journaling the situation that I want to happen,
Yeah.
or the environment, but I haven't gone the step further of the other people. So
To me, that's one of the most powerful ways. I mean, to me, it's when I've said, okay, what would that look like? And even today, what I have happened today, I had another one of these things happen. where I had seen the conversation and it literally happened verbatim. And so I now have this happen so often that it's just like, oh, this is amazing.
And those play for me a lot. When you said, because you told the story on the whatever, I can't even think of the Make Rank, Make Bank, and you told the story about meditating, about working out, and then Jess telling you that, you know, Jack. The Jack story. So I think about that, and I had come and told you about the story of my mom, like me picturing losing weight, and then my mom asked me if I had lost weight.
Yeah.
So it's very powerful, and it's like I'm a really good story listener, and it's the putting it into place a lot of times that where I block myself. And I'm definitely have been working on this self-sabotage thing, because that is a thing but I'm getting better every day. That's a thing in my past, and I'm getting better every day. And I'm grateful that I'm getting better at it every day. I told you I could speak Ray. I could speak Ray all day long. But yeah, it's super helpful.
And the other thing is, I think that it'll help tomorrow's training. I'm talking about the little voice, and I think that'll help too. But you know, you doing that work, that mental work on altering the job, I think will actually create, only because if you weren't consistent, I wouldn't be saying this, but because you're consistent, I think that work over here is going to alter how you feel about this over here. And so I think, I think it'll be cool.
Yeah. And I'm excited. I definitely need to look at getting systems in place, because I kind of wing it with new consultants. And I think that that's really, that's where I need to put some work into putting some systems.
Well, you definitely do, because then you'll have the faith that the systems are in place. As long as you feel like you're winging it, then your only conclusion is either you're not doing a great job, or it's going to require more time for you to do a good job. And neither of those are great scenarios.
Totally. I already have the scripts in my head of what the next step is.
Cool.
So that's totally helpful.
All right. So helpful. Good stuff.
So helpful.
All right. Well, everyone give Alicia a hand. Great job tonight. Super excited. I'm interested to see how your job scenario works out and everything. And, keep rocking and rolling. Very, very cool.
Me too. And if my boss is watching, then whoops.
Nice.
You can find more great marketing, prospecting, and recruiting tips just like these over at rayhigdon.com. And remember to pick up your free copy of his 29 sources of network marketing leads. We'll see you over there.